Hello and welcome to episode 81 of IOnTheTigers, a podcast all about National Ice Hockey League, but one that always has an eye on the Telford Tigers. A couple of bits of news from around the league, so might as well start there before we get on to the, few crucial fixtures that there were for the past weekend. So, Leeds Knights have announced that this season will be Matt Hayward's last season. He is retiring, so finishing on a high. Will he finish on the ultimate high though of playoffs as well? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But no, best wishes to Matt Hayward in the future. A couple of bits of news coming out of Hull as well. Jordan Fisher and Chris Wilcox. It's been confirmed that neither of them will be returning next season. No mention of where they're going, no mention of retirement. So, unless I've missed something, perhaps a bit of a watch and see as to where they end up in terms of next season, if indeed they remain in the league or continue playing. But I'm sure time will tell. On to results. Couple of fixtures in which, quite simply, there was something to play for, and a lot of dead rubbers over the weekend as well, it must be said. But let's jump into it. So, results-wise, the action got underway Friday evening. Milton Keynes Lightning hosted Romford Raiders. It was a good send-off at home for the Milton Keynes fans with a pretty emphatic 7-1 victory over the Raiders. So Lightning finished their regular league season at home on a high there. Saturday, Tigers travelled to the Wildcats. Don't forget, heading into the weekend, the Tigers had a 4-point gap over Solway Sharks and were 3 behind the Romford Raiders. So just a single point over the course of the weekend would be good enough for the Tigers to cement a playoff place, whilst a 4-point weekend gives the chance for pipping Romford to 7th. How did it all unfold? Well, let's start with the Saturday night. So, Tigers travelled down to Swindon. A couple of goals in the first period, including a short-handed goal from Scott McKenzie. Much welcome. Wildcats came back into the game, scored 4 unanswered goals. So with about 10 minutes to go, it was looking as though it either needed to be Milton Keynes winning up in Solway or Sunday night was going to be a big game. That's what it looked like, but it didn't turn out being that way. Tigers dug in really deep. Got a couple of goals, took the game to overtime, securing the point they needed, and then went on to actually win it in overtime. A fantastic result digging in there, quite simply. Plenty of character shown in that. I think what I really liked is that we actually went on to win the game. I suppose it could have been quite easy, knowing that the point was all that was needed to have got that point and then just sort of like being happy with that as such. But no, really, really good stuff to dig in deep there and get the win at Swindon. Tigers are in the playoffs, with Raiders having lost the previous night as well. Just 1 point behind the Raiders, so all to play for on Sunday as well. Going through the rest of the results, though, from Saturday. Sharks 1, Lightning 5, so in the end would have been academic, regardless of whether or not Telford managed to claw back those 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. 9th place finish for the Sharks and a good win on the road there for the Lightning. Bees and Steel Dogs, that one went to overtime as well. That one also finished 4-5 and also in favour of the away team, the Steel Dogs getting a win there down in Berkshire. Knights hosted the Phantoms. And the Phantoms kind of ruined the party parade, to be fair, with a 2-1 win. Presentation of the trophy at Leeds, the league trophy, and Phantoms go and take a win. So, hey-ho. Last, but most definitely not least, Bristol Pitbulls 6, Hull Seahawks 3. That only tells a little bit of the story, though, because the score was 6-3 with just under 5 minutes to go, and that's as far as the game got. Chaos down in Bristol, I think it would be fairly safe to say. Maybe a bit of high sticking, bit of calling out benches, a lot of fighting. Been said that Tommy Napier was standing on sticks trying to break them. It's been said that stuff or equipment was thrown into the crowd. It's all gone on. All I do know is that there were 8 referrals to Department of Player Safety, 5 for Bristol, 3 for Hull. This one could be one that runs for a little bit, and it could have an impact on Hull in the post-season, depending on the length of some of the bans that do get handed out. Because, let's be honest, there's going to be some bans handed out. And, again, if perhaps some of the stuff that's been alleged is proved, you'd imagine there are going to be reasonably lengthy bans in there as well. You can't imagine it's just going to be one game, slap on the wrists, and that's that. We wait and see. Sunday night, Tigers hosted the Sharks. Tigers need to win to have any chance of catching and overtaking Romford and finishing 7th. It finished Tigers 3, Sharks 6. Okay, 8th it is then. Yeah, the Sharks finished well, and some great net minding, some really good saves in there. Their net minder, I want to say Hepburn. Yep, got man of the match and very well deserved there. Elsewhere around the league, well, a couple of matches it felt as though there was a bit of an end of term feel to them. So we'll get to those last. Before we get to the end of term feel, Hull Seahawks hosted the Leeds Knights. Finished 3-3. Overtime couldn't separate them, so it required penalty shots, which the Seahawks won to finish on a high with a 4-3 win there. Steel Dogs hosted the Wildcats. Swindon bounced back from defeat the previous night with an 8-4 win on the road. Now for the end of term stuff. Phantoms 12, Bees 7. So plenty of goals there. Highest scoring game of the night? No, of course not. There was one that was even higher. Raiders 15. Yes, 15. Pitbulls 8. What a crazy scoreline. I think I've seen on a Facebook group that somebody had posted results from 1988 or something such as that. A throwback to when scores like that were perhaps a bit more regular. So Bristol travelled with 12 players, so 1 netminder and 11 skaters. Definitely not helped with the previous night and the number of players who were off to Department of Player Safety. So yeah, conceded 15. Yeah, okay, but to have scored 8 as well was, pretty impressive performance, all I'd say. Definite kind of end-of-term madness going on. So, now off to the playoffs. The 8 teams are known. So, Group 1 is Leeds, it is Hull, it is Peterborough, and it is Telford. My take on that is a tough group. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's no easy groups, but that is a tough group. In terms of who's going to qualify from it, I am going to go for Leeds to top that group. And I will go with Peterborough finishing in 2nd, Hull 3rd and Telford 4th. Very happy to be proved wrong, particularly in terms of who finishes 4th. Group 2 sees Milton Keynes, Swindon, Sheffield and Romford. I think it'll be that top 2 there of MK and Swindon who go through. In terms of the order, I'll go for MK first, 2nd being Swindon, 3rd I'll go for the Steel Dogs, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Raiders, and 4th I'll go for Raiders, but wouldn't be surprised if it was Steel Dogs. So that's my predictions for how the playoff groups will finish. As always, get in contact, let me know how badly I've got it wrong and why I've got it wrong. Looking forward to reading and hearing about that. But in terms of this episode, that's it. But I'll be back this time next week. Bye for now.